They strategize, analyze, dissect the enemy. Split-second timing, hair-trigger reactions, racing an unforgiving foe. Time, final ticks, in the paint, perimeter shooting, pass, shoot, block, slam, roar, yell. Emotions never hidden. Before there can be March Madness, there is the march into the Dome. Today, Indiana, South Carolina, Seton Hall, Valparaiso, the NABC Classic. College basketball with all the noise. Now on Fox Sports Net.
Welcome to Indianapolis, Indiana, the RCA Dome, and the kickoff of the college basketball season here on Fox Sports Net with the Pizza Hut NABC Classic. And boy, do we have a great pair of games for you this afternoon. The Indiana Hoosiers, the number 22 team in the land, taking on South Carolina. That's followed by Cinderella, who's still alive and kicking, the Valparaiso Crusaders, as they take on Tommy Amaker's Seton Hall team. Hello, everyone, and welcome inside the RCA Dome. I'm Kevin Frazier. Great season of college basketball here on Fox Sports Net, and I guess we can all exhale now because college basketball is here. Things got underway last night as Indiana knocked off Seton Hall 83 to 69, the final score. AJ Guyton leading the way with 23 points for the Hoosiers. Then in game two, how about Valpo? Homer Drew loses 4 starters, and he knocks off South Carolina 67-61. We may have a star in freshman Lubo Spartan, who dropped 27. He was 5 of 8 from the land of plenty. All right, almost time for game one. Indiana and South Carolina. Let's get into the guys who are calling this game. Barry Tompkins and the coach, George Ravel.
All right, thanks very much, Kevin. Well, here we are, first week of November. The leaves haven't even fallen yet. Still in the middle of football season. We're talking hoops. I know you're jacked up. I'm jacked up about it. And based on what we saw last night, George, where Valparaiso jumps up and beats South Carolina, I think it's going to be one of those years you throw form away, roll the ball out there, and say, let's go for it.
Barry, I truly believe this is going to be college basketball's most exciting season. There are going to be a ton of close games filled with exciting plays, and of course we're going to have marvelous players and outstanding coaches, and they're all going to be in mad pursuit of a national championship.
Got a couple of marvelous players we're going to be looking at in game number one. Arguably 2 of the best guards in America. They're so good they only go by initials. BJ and AJ.
Well, in BJ Mackey, we have a player who's a Southeast Conference leading scorer, and his coach Eddie Faulkner's asking him to make the supreme sacrifice, switch from scoring guard to combo guard. Great players like to sacrifice, Barry. He'll accept it. AJ Guyton, this is a primetime combo guard whose offense features a potent jump shot and a marvelous first step to the basket. Barry, this guy is a defensive player's nightmare.
Yeah, and he's getting better, too. I think that's the other thing about AJ Guyton. He went for 23 last night. It was an unselfish 23 points. This is a good basketball player, and so, too, is his counterpart, McKee from South Carolina. South Carolina's got to make some amends. Indiana, they got the home folk here. Everybody's excited. Let's get it on when we come back. Home of the stuffed crust pizza. The most fun you could have with a pizza. By Western Union, the fastest way to send money worldwide. By Valvoline, people who know use Valvoline. And by Sony Minidisc, the digital way to record your music. You know what you want. Make it with MD. And we welcome you to the RCA Dome here in Indianapolis, Indiana. Set to go with our first game of the year, the Gamecocks and the Hoosiers. Hoosiers ranked 22. George, let's take a look at the Valvoline starting lineups in this one. B.J. McKee, of course, will be the point guard, and we expect to see a lot of a guy by the name of Lucas. Rouse is pretty much a shooter. Gladys coming off an excellent game, really a 3-forward alignment for Indiana. Washington played on a sore ankle. Fife, just a freshman, and of course AJ Guyton, and we are ready to go. Mackey controls the tip.
Indiana in their staple defense, man-to-man. They'll feature switching on all high screens.
Turnaround by Williams on the block. He misses. 2 Hoosiers there. Gladness gets the rebound. Hoosiers really had an excellent first half, and then kind of went to sleep just a little bit last night. Seton Hall actually won the second half. This is record. And the fall of Fife, the freshman. With a good rebound, back to Record for 3.
One of the things that makes Indiana difficult to defense offensively, Barry, is they have excellent spacing in their offense.
This is Williams way away from the post. He's strictly a low post player. That goes off the hands of Johnson, out of bounds to Indiana. So the Hoosiers off very quickly here.
Indiana in a 3-guard offense. They will announce Record as a forward, but he's really a guard.
Washington on the block. Turn around and go. Washington playing on a sore ankle. He only played the first half last night, sat the second half. The word was that he could play, but Bobby Knight chose not to play him and not take a chance on injuring that ankle more. And you can see the winningest active NCAA coach, Bob Knight. Bob said he's turning over a new leaf this year. Remember he said that at the press conference yesterday.
He wasn't too happy yesterday about Seton Hall's ability to score on their out-of-bounds plays. Seton Hall scored on every out-of-bounds play yesterday.
He's got to be happy about AJ Guyton's 3-point shot, though. He's got a very nice stroke. South Carolina continuing to struggle. Low to Johnson. Short off the glass. 2 Hoosiers there to rebound.
In 3 straight possessions, South Carolina has chosen to attack the interior of the Indiana defense. Obviously, they're looking to try to get Gladness in foul trouble.
The possession arrow is going to be the Hoosiers.
Alternating possession.
I want to welcome those of you who've been watching MSG. Watching soccer. They're going from the feet to the hands, and that's Gladness down low. And the Hoosiers have run it up to an 8-0 lead.
And they're off to another sterling start, just like they had against Seton Hall. This will do a wealth of good for the Hoosiers' offensive confidence.
Ball's kicked loose by Washington. Hoosiers doing everything right so far, and we're going to get a foul down underneath. A little bit too aggressive was Dane Fife. Chalk that up for freshman mistake.
Few teams in college basketball do a better job of defending the high post screen than Indiana. The defensive man will always step out and stop ball advancement.
Rouse was a 3-point shooter. Davis was trying to find his jump shot. He lost it for an entire year. And there it is. And he still can't find it. Off the right side, a little hard. Guyton high for the rebound. Rebounding is something Bobby Knight wants to see a little bit more production. And Guyton tries to leave it for Washington. He might have been a little too unselfish that time.
Well, he tried to take a 3-foot shot and turn it into a successful 1-foot shot.
Mackey with the basket. The foul on Washington.
Personal.
B.J. Mackey, he'll give you a nice stop-and-go power move to the basket. He loves to draw contact. He shot 100 more foul shots than anybody in the SEC last year.
Doing what his coach asked him. They lost an excellent point guard in Melvin Watson, and so Mackey said, you need a point guard, I'm your man.
Barry, as we go throughout the game, you'll see that Mackey has a unique ability to draw fouls. Last year, he attempted 262 foul shots.
You know, the other side of that coin, we were talking about Herbert Lee Davis and how his jump shot is deserted. And Herbert Lee Davis has played 61 games at South Carolina, and he shot 33 free throws.
Because he's you're not going to go to the line a lot if you're just basically a jump shooter. Herbert Lee Davis sees himself as a scorer.
Last night he did try to take it to the basket a little bit more than we've seen him. This is Davis. No reason why Davis can't take the basket. He jumped out of the gym. Very quick. Very good athlete. There's a look at Herbert Lees, a junior. Another South Carolina product. 10 players on Eddie Fogler's team from the state of South Carolina. It was started by B.J. Mackey. The program was not going well. Mackey committed to South Carolina, and he started a parade.
The next couple of years, South Carolina high school basketball has a bag full of outstanding basketball players, and particularly at Lower Richland High School.
Well, and there's no telling, allowing for the fact that Eddie Fogler has been able to recruit the state of South Carolina so well. What would they have been like if Kevin Garnett and Jermaine O'Neal had not opted to go to the NBA out of high school?
Frightening.
Recker puts it on the floor, draws the foul on Davis. No shot.
Obvious contact made with the penetrating record before the shot takes up. There's the contact way before the shot. Correct call by the official.
Nice lead from Washington that time, and again, Fife got himself in the air and just couldn't find anything to do with the basketball. Mackey the other way for the J, short, and Davis across the lane for the rebound. And now Mackey will back it out. 45-second clock in these games, and Eddie Fogler was not too fond of that last night. He was saying his team never really got used to that, and he allowed that. That was one of the reasons, perhaps, that Valparaiso was able to not only stay in the game, but win it. That's Lucas, the freshman. We'll talk more about him. He loses the flatness, has all kinds of trouble controlling it, and then Davis with a careless foul. His second. That looked like it was running slow motion.
Personal foul, South Carolina. Number 14,
Indiana does a nice job of getting the ball out in transition. South Carolina is going to be severely challenged to sprint back after every missed shot and get ahead of the ball and stop the basketball.
And I'll correct myself. That was Davis's third personal foul, not his second.
Two substitutions for South Carolina. Davis Ross, number 0, and number 20, William Gallman.
Gallman will come into the ball game. Real blue-collar guy for Eddie Fogler. There's all those little things that take all the extra work. That's the line on him.
He came off the bench against Valparaiso, had 10 points and 11 rebounds.
Very effective, particularly effective at the end of ball games. We'll tell you a little bit more about that. Hoosiers lead it by 6, 15-23 left, first half. Welcome back. South Carolina continuing to struggle. Indiana leads by 6. Here are the experimental rules we're using for tonight's game. Not during the regular season, mind you. Free throw lanes, as opposed to the free throw line, move back 10 inches. This is designed to open up the lane a little bit. We have the 45-second shot clock. We talked about that. Each team has 5 30-second timeouts for the game. So after the first full timeout, then they all become 30-second timeouts. But that shot clock is kind of a strange one, isn't it?
Well, Barry, I think what the committee's trying to do is determine if by limiting the shot clock, it'll improve the flow of the game and help offensive efficiency.
Didn't seem to have a big effect last night. Either way, this is Ross who stepped in front of Ross, Lucas, Gallman, Mackey, and Williams. The lineup for South Carolina now. Recker, Guyton, Fife, Blandis, and Washington continue for Indiana. There's a little sloppy pass. And an over and back. Well, it's bad the works here for Carolina. They get a break and they can't take advantage.
The one thing that Eddie Fogler does have to be encouraged about, though, Barry, is the fact that they have been able to successfully penetrate the interior of Indiana's defense with good post passing. Now what they have to do is couple the good post passing with successful baskets.
That was a great look by AJ Guyton and a nice move to the basket by Washington. But Indiana is doing extremely well, too, even though it's early in this game, and they did it well in the first half last night, too, was rebound despite being outside.
Barry, so much for Eddie Fogler's experiment with moving B.J. Mackey to the point guard. Here we are in the second game, and he's going with the freshman Lucas at the point.
And you were saying last night, we were talking after the game last night, that it would be interesting to see how long he has to play. Well, Lucas is a guy who the scouting report said Eddie Fogler may just have to play, and that's certainly been the case. He was impressive last night. Very quick first step. Player of the year in South Carolina. And Mackey right there back in the world of the year obviously is more comfortable with it.
Lucas is a young man out of that high school I mentioned, Lower Richland High School.
That's a tough shot. Ball in the rebound. Freshman Fife draws the defensive assignment on B.J. Mackey. Fife's reputation is as a good defender. Bobby Knight was not pleased the way he defended last night. Here's Record to the basket. Count it and... Gamecocks having all kinds of problems hanging on to the basketball.
Well, Record is a difficult matchup for South Carolina because of his size and his strength. He has the ability to hit the three, and yet he can put it on the floor and take it to the hole with superiority.
Kirk Haston will come into the Indiana lineup, replacing Lee Gladness. Haston, playing in his first game as a redshirt freshman last night, was very impressive.
One of the things that helped prepare Luke Record for this season was he spent 10 days working at the Michael Jordan basketball camp. He had an opportunity to be tutored by Michael and the integral task of guarding Michael.
So he's tutored by him and schooled by him. And another turnover.
And I watched a couple of those late-night games at Jordan's camp, and Record and Jordan were doing a lot of trash talking.
Let me guess who the talker was and who the talkie was. 8 turnovers for South Carolina, an inordinate amount for Eddie Fogler's team. Turnover minute, that's not good.
Particularly against a team like Indiana that makes you pay for every mistake you make.
16-5, the Hoosiers by 11. Not unlike their game last night when they just ran away and hid. Bob Knight certainly has to be pleased with the defensive effort his team is putting forth so far. I think Bob liked what he saw. You always have to read between the lines with Bob. Perfection is only a rumor. Guyton open for 3. And a second chance. Haston with a rebound. Drop it to Fife, who leaves for Washington, who's fouled.
Personal foul, South Carolina, number 20, his first personal.
Washington, a transfer from San Jose City College. That has become rather fertile ground for Bobby Knight. He and Brad Dugan, who used to be a coach at City College of San Francisco, very good friends, and Brad has steered a couple of people to Indiana. Substitution for South Carolina's Hagen Rouse comes into the ball game, and B.J. Mackey will get a blow.
Early in the season, Barry, I think you'll see Bob Knight use a 3-man interior rotation, and they'll principally be Washington and Gladness, the big freshman, Haston. And I think as Richardson comes along, they'll increase it to a 4-man rotation.
And just as you said that, Washington comes back into the ball game, and Gladness comes back into the ball game, and Washington gets his first blow, and that's going to be on the offense. A little use of the off arm by Rouse. And with that, we're going to take a timeout. 11 minutes, 55 seconds remaining to be played in the first half. South Carolina just can't find it. Indiana leads it 18-5 on plays like that one. Lucas, the penetration with a right hand. Nice move by the freshman.
Nice explosive move to the backboard and good use of the backboard with the shot.
Bobby Knight, of course, a proponent of everybody getting touches. Won 4 passes at least on every possession in the half court. And this one, of course, is a turnover, and that brings Bobby Knight off the bench to plead his case with the official. There's Eddie Fogler, who's done, I think, he's done an excellent job everywhere he's been, and picked it up at South Carolina. Took a program that was really on the down and started getting the local guys, and that's in large part to B.J. Mackey. It's a loss for the Baskets. It's the first time in the game South Carolina backs up the Baskets.
One of the reasons David Ross is in the game for South Carolina is because he's an outstanding three-point shooter, and obviously Eddie Fogler is looking for offense.
Ross this time a little spin move off the baseline. It won't go, but a second chance is missed by Gallman. He gets it back again and puts it in. That's what Gallman does for South Carolina.
Gallman is their best rebounder at both ends of the floor.
I told you, we mentioned a little bit later how effective he is in the latter parts of games. I find this interesting, George. He's 14 of 17 in the last 5 minutes or overtime of the basketball game. That's pretty good.
And don't look now, but Eddie Fogler has switched to a zone 2-3 matchup.
Record, good no call, steps in, misses too hard. Rebound Mackey, here come the Gamecocks. Mackey, wall to wall, a little bit short. And it's going to be out of bounds to Indiana.
And all of a sudden, South Carolina has become energized. For a while, they were much of a dormant basketball team, lacking in intensity, lacking in enthusiasm.
Burley Davis has come back in the ball game. There he is, and remember, he's playing with 3 fouls that he picked up in the first 4 minutes of the game. So Eddie Fogler taking a bit of a chance. Bud Johnson, also back in the ball game for Carolina. Check that, it's LaRon Williams, not Johnson.
South Carolina shifting out of a 1-3-1 into a 2-3 zone, back into a 1-3-1.
Record pull-up short. That is Johnson with the rebound. So both Johnson and Williams on the floor for South Carolina.
One of the reasons Eddie Fogler went to the zone is it allows them to better rebound out of the zone. And number 2, they're better able to defend Indiana's screen.
Johnson the J and the follow by Davis. Now you ask, why doesn't he go to the basket?
And all of a sudden, the South Carolina basketball team has energized themselves.
8 unanswered points now for Carolina.
And you can see the energy very defensively. They're moving in the zone. They're bouncing up and down. They're an active defensive team.
That's a block on Mackey, and that is a good call. It was an excellent performance by Mackey. Watch Davis follow this shot.
And usually when you see these type of offensive maneuvers, the player who puts the offensive tip-in back in or the offensive dunk, it comes from the weak side of the floor, and that's because on the weak side of the floor, seldom is the offensive player blocked out.
Gladness' shot is up and good. Gladness, one of the seniors on this Indiana team. They don't have a lot of them.
At the rate Indiana's going to the foul line right now, Barry, they're going to probably shoot somewhere between 25 and 30 attempts.
Mackey is now back at the point for South Carolina. Rouse tries to leave it for Williams. Williams and Hastings tie each other up, and you're going to get a grab on Williams reaching in.
Coach Knight is really working the officials.
He starts working the officials when they come out of the dressing room, doesn't he?
It's a nice penetration move. Excellent help defense. Williams reaches in, an obvious foul.
8th team foul for Carolina. There's Bob Knight.
I I'm not sure why Coach Knight was upset at the official because they did call a foul. Perhaps they did not call it quick enough.
Seven-point Indiana lead. Lucas back in the ball game now for South Carolina. Drop it down for Williams. Turnaround. Got it.
South Carolina has a nice balance in their offense between inside and outside offense. What they've got to do now, they've got to put the stopper on Indiana on 2 or 3 possessions and then convert those stops.
Good play that time by Williams with the block, and Mackey is open for 3 and misses. Lewis with the rebound. We come the other way. Guyton open for 3.
3-point. AJ Guyton. The assist to Michael Lewis, number 24.
Just picking his pocket was Recker, and then Davis with a careless reach in. That's number 4. And he will sit the rest of the half and maybe longer than that.
What Recker did is he timed this high dribble. He saw Davis's dribbling that ball high. He timed it, and if you notice, he reached in as the ball was going down to avoid the foul. So he reached on the downward dribble. Smart defense.
Recker's another one of those guys. We talk about Gallman being a blue-collar guy. Recker sort of falls into that category also. Tenacious player. Somebody described his game as sturdy as an old farmhouse.
And defense's 2 valuable assets are the fact that he has quick hands and long arms. Indiana's going to look at about 15 foul shot attempts right here in the first half.
So Recker gets them both, and Indiana stretched it out to 10 points again. And South Carolina now trying to get a little bit more of this kind of production, but it won't be from Davis. He'll be sitting. This is Williams on the baseline, and he is tough down there.
Outstanding patience by South Carolina on that particular possession. Good movement, good spacing, exploiting the fact that Indiana likes to play behind the post.
Went into that zone. Recker missed, but Washington gives him a second chance, and they'll start all over. Guyton for 3. And the rebound to Gallman. Gallman's got a gang of rebounds since being in there, and that's his job.
They list Gallman at 6'7", but he plays much like a 6'10" player. Very active.
Save on the baseline by Lewis. Sorry. Gladness off the glass.
If Indiana could get a double-double every game out of Gladness, I like their chances of really challenging for the Big Ten championship.
And that's going to be Gallman over the top. A little too aggressive that time. Came up over the top of Washington.
Sorry, feeding the post is a lost art. First of all, you've got to read the defense. The best way to feed the post is with a bounce pass, and Mike Lewis knows that. First thing Lewis did was read the defense. He saw he had the defender on the high side. He led Gladness with a nice bounce pass toward the baseline so he could step right into his offensive move. Textbook basketball.
Michael Lewis, another one of those guys, he takes care of the basketball, and that's what you want in a point guard. Just about a 2-to-1 assist to turnover ratio.
Yeah, 15 assists last year against Iowa. I didn't have 15 in my whole career.
You never gave it up, right? Washington a little bit short with that one. Rob Turner has come into the Indiana lineup now, as Recker will take a seat.
Turner is a young man who can put a lot of points on the board quickly, as evidenced by the fact that he had 25 points last year against Kentucky. He had 19 of them in the first half.
And Guyton pleading his case that he got all ball, and I'll tell you, that was awfully close.
Number 25, AJ Guyton.
See what you think here.
Here's the penetration by Mackey. Looked like it was all ball to me, but I'm not certain. Yep, all ball.
That was all level.
Excellent camera work.
Ross tries to drop it down. Johnson missed. Gladness the rebound. Lewis, they leave him. He takes it. He makes it.
He has excellent shot selection and is a much better three-point shooter than he gets credit for.
Tough shot by Williams, draws the foul on Washington.
Personal foul, number 44.
What Lewis does, he spots up, he's got speed under him, takes his time, nice follow through. Excellent wrist and fingertip action.
And it sets a tone, too. South Carolina now off the stretch of the defense a little bit more and respect his shooting.
Well, in high school, Mike Lewis was known as a scorer. He came to Indiana and he was asked to make the sacrifice and become a point guard and get other people involved in scoring. But scoring is a natural thing with Mike.
South Carolina.
Into the South Carolina lineup now comes Damian Kinlock, one of a talented freshman group that Eddie Fogler has this year. Kinlock out of Charleston, South Carolina.
A lot has been made of the fact that Indiana supposedly lacks an inside offensive presence. But this is a team that has tremendous depth. They probably have as good a depth as anybody in the Big Ten. They have 8 guards who are all good basketball players.
And Gladness has nobody to pass it to, so he simply pulls up and sticks it. Lucas drives baseline, leaves it this time for Johnson, who's surrounded. Lucas again. A little short, right idea, wrong execution. Turner gets it for Indiana. Nice give, but unable to finish that time was Gladness.
As we progress, let's keep a particular eye on the way Indiana defenses the ball when it's on the wing. They like to force the ball toward the baseline. They'll give you the baseline and want to force you into a trap along the baseline.
Mackey can't get it to go. Turner with a rebound for Indiana. Hoosiers up by 14 with the ball.
Mackey's really struggled here in this tournament.
Turner. He is an instant offense guy. Missed that one long. Missed everything.
Indiana has worn South Carolina down. If you look at them, Barry, they're breathing hard. They're starting to come out of their stance. This is a tired team on the floor right now for South Carolina.
Well, another thing to point out, too, is Mackey sticks a 3 there. Davis on the bench with 4 fouls. One of their better players, Antonio Grant, is not available tonight because of a knee. And another one of probably their best defender, Nix, is not available until December because of academic problems. So this team is going to get better.
Absolutely. South Carolina's gone back into that zone defense, and
that'll get you out of it.
And if you're going to play it, you have to keep pressure on the ball and know where the shooters are.
Ross for 3. Too hard off the left side, and Lewis with another rebound. Lewis is really making his presence felt since he has come on for Indiana. He's got 2 threes, played well on the defensive end. Turner, too long. Mackey the rebound.
And the South Carolina big men are laboring up and down the floor right now. I fully expect in this last 147 to see Indiana try to get a couple easy baskets in transition, pushing the ball hard to the basket.
Jimenez and Recker will come into the Indiana lineup, and it's plays like this that have Indiana in front by 14. Gladness nowhere to throw it. Shoot it. Get it. We're coming back. You know, tonight after the game, stay tuned for Fox Sports News Primetime. You get all the scores, all the highlights, all the breaking stories. Covering your hometown teams 7 nights a week. We're there. Fox Sports News Primetime tonight after the game. But we got Kevin Frazier. Carolina inbounds, and Lucas with a nice effort over Lewis to control that inbounds pass. South Carolina, we talked about this in the break, George, it seems a little out of sync.
I think the fatigue has become a contributing factor to that.
Putback by number 21.
Putback off his own miss.
Eddie Fogler would desperately like to get this down to a single figure deficit as they go into the locker room at halftime. Make a few adjustments.
This game is a lot like Indiana's game last night, actually. They ran away and hit early on from Seton Hall, and Seton Hall actually won the second half.
But Seton Hall went small in the second half. They went with a 2-point guard lineup, and their superior quickness and speed caused Indiana some problems.
Inside of 1 minute.
Jimenez, good three-point shooter. Record. Try to drop it down for Gladness. Controlled by Richardson. Back to Gladness, and misses the shot. Carolina ball.
46 seconds remaining in the first half. 36-24 Indiana.
AJ Guyton, number 3, number 32, Vermont Williams.
Do you use as much of this clock, or do you try to get 2 out of this?
I try to get 2 possessions out of it. I think Eddie Fogler will try to get 2. Eddie Fogler just called a set play from the bench. They can't get a player open on the wing.
And now Mackey picks up the dribble. See the shot clock in the corner. Difference of 1 second between the shot clock and the game clock. Mackey kicked back Lucas for 3, and he got it. So a good possession by South Carolina.
It takes it under double digits to 9-point deficit.
Recker coming. Sticks it. Well, there's a real demoralizer for South Carolina right there.
Just when you think you have the thing under control and you can go into halftime and make a few adjustments, Luke Recker comes back and puts a bullet in their back.
And there was no doubt about it from the moment it left his hand, back of the iron.
Nice spot up, full follow through.
End of the first half, Indiana pretty much dominating throughout. South Carolina was stuck on 5 for a long time. Cross starts the second half ahead of Herbert Lee Davis, who, remember, picked up 4 personal fouls in the first half. I suspect they'll sit, what, 10 minutes?
At least 10 minutes. What it does, it takes one of South Carolina's most effective three-point shooters out of the game. That was obviously a set play diagram by Eddie Fogler during the halftime.
And Mackey converts it. 10-point ball game. The game is still very much there for South Carolina, taking up themselves right. Recker in and out. And running it down was Washington. That's just a hustle play by Washington. Asked for help. And finally, Guyton comes up.
South Carolina staying in that 2-3 matchup zone.
Nice play moving without the ball. Recker, the pass from Gladness. House dumps it down to Johnson on the block, and he traveled.
Lute Recker has scored in just about every manner in which an offensive player can be effective. Here's a great example. Pass. He sees his defender turn his back. He immediately cuts to the basket. Excellent job of reading the defense by Lute Recker.
Guyton coming across the lane. Can't get it. And it's going to be out of bounds to Indiana as Williams stepped on the end line. And there's Recker again from the corner. For three. Recker doing it all right now. The Indiana lead is 15. Biggest lead of the game for Indiana. Guyton with the rebound.
Recker's heading for a game like he had last year against Purdue when he scored 27 points and had 12 rebounds.
From the baseline. Washington missed. Recker runs it down to Gladness underneath. And Indiana just out-hustling South Carolina to start the second half.
Hey, Barry, how about this Lute Recker? He's turned this into his personal playground.
Really, he's one of those guys, you know, we always use this term in basketball, and I'm not sure half our audience understands what it means, but he knows how to play. And he knows how to play.
And he also knows how to get open. He reads defenses well. Here, South Carolina's lazy. He slips behind the defense. He sees the defense has its back turned to him. He spots up, gets his feet under him, and plants it.
South Carolina just kind of going through the motions here. They were like that last night, too. Still a team in search of itself.
And in search of an inspirational leader.
Well, and oddly enough, they were talking to us about that yesterday before the game. They were saying that this year, unlike last year, there is one leader, and that leader is Mackey. Last year, they had Watson and Mackey at the center, who is now gone, Ryan Stack. Those were the leaders of the team, but there wasn't any one guy. This year, there is one guy, but it just doesn't seem to be taking hold.
Well, B.J. Mackey, number one, is not a vocal leader. He tends to lead by example. Many times, you need an inspirational leader, and inspirational leaders tend to be vocal.
Hoosiers got 3 chances that time, kept it up on the glass, but Mackey finally clears for South Carolina. Down low to Gallman.
Passing by number 20, William Gallman. Gallman on the assist for shot at number 21.
This could be a breakout year for William Gallman.
Record gives to Guyton, cut to the basket.
Indiana continues to exploit the poor defensive vision consistently exhibited by this South Carolina basketball team.
And to that end, Eddie Fogler is going to get Herman Lee Davis in the game despite his 4 fouls and despite the fact there's only 3.5 minutes gone in the second half. Mackey for Ross to the left hand. Too hard. Washington the rebound. Quick outlet Lewis. Lewis had a nice first half. Perfect 2 of 2, both 3-pointers from the field. Had 4 rebounds. A couple of assists. Guyton missed the 3. Gallman the rebound. They called that on. Got it on Washington. And with that, we'll take our first time out of the second half. 15:47 remaining to be played. Unselfish play. Record to Guyton to the basket. Indiana by 14. Gallman and Mackey keeping their team on the perimeter at least. I should say on the periphery.
It's been William Gallman on the inside for South Carolina and B.J. Mackey on the perimeter. If they could find a third effective offensive player, this game might get interesting.
Guyton missed a shot that I don't think struck a good note with Bob Knight. Davis is back in the ballgame incidentally for South Carolina. I would expect Indiana to go at it. Guard by Washington. Just being a pest and finally got it away from Gallman. takes him to the basket. Davis can't do anything about it.
Lou Recker's feeling it now, Barry. His self-talk is, hey, I can score anytime I want to. I'll do it out of the offense, but none of these guys can defend me.
Well, especially Davis, who's playing with 4 fouls. Recker got that step on him. Davis couldn't do anything. There's Lucas behind a pick. Offense. I'll tell you, Washington is just playing very headsy basketball tonight, too. Very smart.
There's Recker, nice pump fake to bring the defender into an erect position. He takes it to the hole, and as they go by, Bob Knight's not that impressed. He's more interested in the score.
The score shows his team in front by 14, 50-36. Recker moving without the ball again, takes Davis with him. Second cutter is Guyton, goaltender. Trapped it against the glass, he can't do that.
Bud Johnson trapped it with 2 hands against the backboard. Here's a nice penetration move. There's Bud Johnson. Bud Johnson picked it off the backboard. Almost tipped it in.
So Guyton will go to the line. Guyton has been rather quiet since early in this ball game. For a shooter. Lucas again drives around. Guyton tried to drop it for Davis, gets it back himself, missed too hard. And the rebound finally down to Guyton, 4-on-1. Guyton to Recker, a little hard. Recker saves for Guyton. And Indiana will set it up. They drop it down to Gladness. What a look by Michael Lewis, and a nice move without the ball by Gladness. Unselfish play by the Hoosiers.
And outstanding patience. Indiana passed up 2 open shots to get the easy layup. They share the basketball on a consistent basis.
Davis too hard off the back iron, and Washington with another rebound.
Indiana's got their transition game in high gear right now.
Recker a little bit short, but there's the offensive rebound, Washington. Lewis drops it for Gladness, moving along the baseline off his foot and out of bounds. Take a look at the last sequence and then watch Bobby Knight.
Only perfection satisfies Coach Knight.
And that was pretty close to it. Ross way out front. Got it. The 3.
Scouting report on David Ross, strictly a 3-point shooter.
Gladness down low, and they're really allowing the Hoosiers to set up in the block.
And Fife playing B.J. McKee. Extremely physical defense. Fife's a young man. He'll put his hands on you. He'll try to channel you in one direction or another. His father as his high school coach.
His brother went to Michigan, played for several years in Michigan.
One of the values of having your dad as a high school coach is you tend to see the game through a coach's eyes as opposed to a player's eyes.
Back into the ballgame for Indiana now is Kurt Haston, who has had limited minutes today after playing a good portion of the game last night and having 17 points. Washington will sit. I thought Washington was very effective.
He does all the little things that only a coach and his mom appreciate.
Williams comes off the baseline. Nice shot by Florida.
Ron Williams comes into the game with a reputation of being one of the country's best 6 men. Had an outstanding year last year for South Carolina off the bench.
And in fact, they figured out over a 40-minute span 20 points a game and had, I believe it was 17 rebounds.
He averaged 10 points a game as a sub.
Mackey cut off the pass by Haston and saved by Fife. And here come the Hoosiers again. Nice play getting back for the freshman Lucas. Lucas impressing some folks tonight. Gladness steps in front of the pass from Johnson. Recker with a left hand.
Rutgers done it all. Right-handed, left-handed, assist. 3-point shots. He's introducing us to his entire bag of tricks this afternoon.
Gonna get a foul this time, reaching in, I think, on Recker. Recker's had a brilliant second half. Actually, right at the end of the first half is when he really started to get it in gear. 59-43, 10:43 left. We're coming back.
Luke Recker's baskets have come primarily off of good defensive reads. He sees the defense making obvious mistakes, particularly from a vision standpoint, and he positions himself and makes a nice cut to the basket, gets an easy basket.
And another good play by Gladness. He just kind of got in the way, held his ground, forced the jump ball. The alternating possession arrow belongs to the Hoosiers.
22 points for Luke Recker, 4 assists.
Personal foul, Indiana, number 11.
He got Fife on the foul that time. Away from the ball.
B.J. McKee taking the charge. He took 22 last year to lead the team, so he's not a one-dimensional player. He's not just a scorer. He's a young man who also takes great pride in the defensive end of the floor.
Mackey dish this time to Ross for 3. Missed that one short. Got Williams over the top.
Personal foul.
This is going to be a really special season for William Gladness. Last year, he was primarily a role player in the Indiana offense. This year, Barry, he's Indiana's go-to guy inside. What a reversal in role.
Washington is going to help him, too, and so, too, will Haston, actually. Those are both guys who work well within the system of Bob Knight. In fact, this really strikes me as a definitive Bob Knight team. It's very unselfish. A lot of guys who do their little things. Gladness down low. There's the shot. Recker followed it in.
The second half, Indiana's 12 for 18 from the field.
Rouse is short. Williams picks up the short one. They gave that basket to Haston on the follow rather than Recker. Recker was there also. Watch Indiana down low.
Well, last year, rebounding was a problem for Indiana. They're putting special emphasis on it this year. They're really sending 3 men to the backboard. They're sending them aggressively.
Give the basket to Haston. Haston, redshirt freshman, sat last year. Out of Lobelville, Tennessee. Perry County High School. You ever got that?
I've got a ball strap. Last time I was in Memphis, I went by to check out Elvis's pad.
Was he there?
I left him 2 tickets for the NCAA finals.
Gladness lost the handle that time. Gauntlet comes away with it, clears to Mackey.
It was just about at this point yesterday that Indiana went into a little lull and allowed Seton Hall back into the game, and the crowd has become quite dormant. So there's a potential for the same thing happening here with South Carolina.
North Carolina got it right back. They get it to LeBron Williams down low for the basket. Still 16-point Indiana lead. looking down low. Turn it over again. Bob Knight will get AJ Guyton back into the ball game. Lucas back into the game along with Johnson for South Carolina. And Bob Knight can have a talk with his freshman Fife. Eddie Fogler willing to talk to anybody who will listen to him. Rouse open for three. He can shoot it. A little hard, though. Gets it back. Gallman just chases it down, but can't control it. Here come the Hoosiers once again. Lewis. Gladness to Hastings. Got a man in the air. That's the way you draw it out.
Based on these first two games, I certainly don't think that Indiana fans have a legitimate concern about the Hoosiers' inside game. Their big men are playing excellent and playing excellent at both ends of the floor.
They really are, and that was the big question about them. They needed more rebounding strength this year. They have one player 6'10". He is Hastings. Two guys 6'8". And that's it.
I think this whole thing about having big men inside is overrated anyway. Chicago Bulls won the NBA championship without a center. In crunch time, they never had a center on the floor.
I know I don't have to remind you. They did have 23.
Well, that helped.
He can play. Yeah. Comes to its feet. They gotta love the effort of the Indiana Hoosiers, who lead this one by 18. We're coming back. Let's take a look at the Western Union game summary, and that name up at the top really sticks out, doesn't it, George?
Well, he scored in every conceivable manner. He's dished the ball off. You look down there, Indiana's shooting 47%. I think a large part that's due to better offensive balance. Basketball's become a game of easy baskets, and in this particular game, Indiana's got more easy scoring opportunities than South Carolina.
Pretty much able to do what they want.
And when they want to do it.
Gladys came off the pick, backs it out. Record trying to post Mackey up. Now he steps out and drop it down for Hastings. Hastings fouled by Williams.
Hastings does a nice job of getting low post position, and not only getting the position, but maintaining it with a good feel.
You know what else he does, George, which I know you appreciate as a coach? He doesn't bring that ball down. When he gets it, it's never below his shoulders, or at least his chest.
And reading the scouting reports on him, there hasn't been much talk about his hands, but I've been very impressed with it. He has nice, soft hands, catches the ball well, has an awful lot of poise for a redshirt freshman.
And a very nice stroke, as you can see at the free throw line.
Well, I don't know why, if we should be completely surprised. This guy was a Mr. Basketball in Tennessee when he was in high school.
Davis posting up. Lucas. Got in the rebound.
So I like Lucas. I think Lucas is your point guard of the future. We're going to be hearing a lot about this young man before his career is over at South Carolina.
Had to force that pass, Big Hastings, his record was the guard. Front back with a loose ball picked up by Gladys, and they'll kick it out and start all over. South Carolina continues just to have all sorts of troubles taking care of the ball.
What Indiana's going to do now, they're going to stretch every possession, spread this South Carolina defense, and they're going to move until they find the easy shot, and there it is.
That was it. Hastings says, I missed it once, I'm not going to miss it twice.
There's not much left in the South Carolina team legs defensively. They're out of the stance, their feet are not moving. Baskets will start to become easier and easier for Indiana to secure.
Davis up front. Still can't get one. Only got 2 points.
when your legs are fatigued and you're behind 69 to 47, you can make a comeback at the defensive end of the floor, not the offensive end. So it doesn't look good for the Gamecocks.
Madness down low, not going to stop that. Madness has 17 points.
Picked right up where he left off against Seton Hall.
Davis again for 3. And that one goes down.
You know, Barry, I think the IU big men were a little upset with all the negative commentary about what was not expected of them this season. I think that right now they're playing for respect.
Haston down low again. Haston's got 10 points.
A good example of what I talked about a few seconds ago, Barry. The baskets are becoming easier and easier for Indiana to find.
AJ Mackey misses. Haston clears. This is getting ugly if you sit in the seat of Eddie Fogler.
Well, you look out at this South Carolina team, everybody's standing up straight. Nobody's in a defensive stance. Indiana's taken all of the thrust out of South Carolina's defense.
Record over. They're all high percentage shots. Gladness reaches in.
At this juncture, Indiana's securing any shot that they want and when they want it.
3:26 remaining, and Indiana running away and hiding. They lead South Carolina by 23. Dome 73 to 50. Indiana over South Carolina. Thursday, November 26th, Fox Sports Net's Films presents A Year Inside a College Basketball Program. Go beyond the boundaries, beneath the surface, beneath the big dreams and bitter realities. In Between the Madness on Fox Sports Net, Thanksgiving night. Steve Stern, the guys at Black Canyon Films producing that, they do an excellent job.
It's one thing to create turnovers. It's more important to convert them, and Indiana certainly had a wealth of success in this game, as that graphic just showed. They have 30 points off of turnovers created by their defense.
23 turnovers now for South Carolina. A lot of them just careless turnovers.
Indiana's gotten another solid bench contribution from Hasty. 10 points, 5 rebounds.
Lucas picks Jimenez and Dice.
And steals and basket by Aaron Lucas, number 5.
Well, for all intent and purposes, Barry, this game is over. It's just a question now how costly is going to be the funeral.
I don't even think Eddie Fogler wants to view the body.
And Eddie's just got to get back to Columbia, make a few adjustments, get this team motivated.
Well, he's going to get Antonio Grant back. Grant is a very integral part of this basketball team. He's got a knee injury. Probably could have played tonight, but Eddie opted not to take a chance on it. Jamel Bradley in the ballgame, another one of the talented freshman group that Eddie Fogler has at South Carolina. Kidlock also in the game.
See, once again, Indiana stretches the possession. They'll just keep moving it. They've passed up 1 or 2 good shots.
Rob Turner has been wrong with everything. Bradley for Ross for 3, short. Jimenez the rebound.
Bob Knight has just about cleared the bench.
Another freshman in the ball game. Highly recruited freshman from South Carolina. Up to date on who was in the game. Richardson, Jimenez, Guyton, Haston. Turner for Indiana, Lucas Kinlock, Ross Kitchens, and Burrell rather, or Bradley for South Carolina, as Bob Knight has now cleared his bench, bringing on Jared Odell.
And the entire Indiana bench got up and congratulated Curtin Hastings.
Well, he's had an excellent weekend, too. Outstanding game. Also one for Indiana, Tom Geyer. So Bob Knight has played everybody. There's Odell in this to Jekyll. This is Bradley. Bradley, as we said, interesting story, 80% deaf. Has to look at the coach with all his instructions. He wears hearing aids, and that improves his hearing by about 60%.
Well, there's some coaches that if you play for them, you're better off being 80% deaf. There are a lot of guys I coached that wish they were 80% deaf.
Or were after they left you. Bob Knight's got to be very pleased. Somewhere inside him, I'm sure he is very pleased at what he sees. He really does seem to have his kind of team. He's got a very unselfish team. Guys who do all those little things, coachable guys.
Hey, Barry, I got one for you in the Big Ten. Remember I told you this. The sleeper team in the Big Ten this year is going to be Penn State. I believe Penn State's going to step up in national prominence this year, and they're going to have a prime-time season. In fact, I look for Penn State to penetrate pretty far in the NCAA playoffs.
We'll talk about that in March. Michigan State, of course, the team to beat, according to most of the experts in the Big Ten.
And the Big Ten coaches picked Indiana to come in second.
And this time it's going to be Geyer who can't get it, and this one is over. And mercifully so, I think, for Eddie Fokker. From Bob Knight, outstanding win, I think. Even though it's early season, in the great scheme of things, it doesn't mean a whole lot, but I think for Bob Knight's team to play as well as it has this early against a quality opponent tonight and a pretty darn good team last night in Seton Hall.
Well, you hold a nationally preseason ranked team to 55 points. Bob Knight's got to be awfully satisfied with his defense.
So Indiana wins it by 21. Why don't we take a